Lights.
Legs.
Hello, welcome to our Friday live stream. We do a live stream every Friday, the last Friday of every month, and it's just a pleasure to join in with you. We usually do a restorative yoga class. The reason we do a restorative yoga class on the last Friday of every month is that restorative is the most prop heavy, and we like to go out and choose these fabulous locations here on Vancouver Island, in and around Victoria, BC. And because we hunt out and scout out these beautiful locations for you, to carry all these props around is a bit of a drag. So I just decided to make the restorative classes our live classes, because then we can be indoors and I don't have to carry the props around. So basically I'm lazy. So welcome, hello. Let us know your name and where you're joining us from in the comments. That would be great. Tim is here with us today, and he is moderating the comments. He's letting me know when you're joining us and where you're joining us from. So it's great to have you with us today. Just come off of the 3-day summer solstice retreat with our members, so feeling particularly zened out. That was a wonderful retreat that we did in our membership community. If our members are with us, let us know if you did that retreat with us. But we did breath practices and yoga practices. We did some forest bathing. There were some beautiful recipes, restorative yoga. We did a lot of focusing on the heart meridian and small intestine meridian, and with some yoga nidra, and also some restorative yoga. And I know it was a really great way to balance the very yang energy of this time of year, particularly because it was a full moon right this week as well. So the energy was really just quite intense. And so the practices really helped to balance that over the last 3 days. It was kind of funny because I was really in the mode of the retreat. Yesterday I was still practicing the retreat classes, and I was like, wow, this is really quiet here. But that the retreat was kind of officially over, although it's a great practice to come back to throughout the summer. You know, you can pick it up as a 1-day or a 2-day or a 3-day retreat whenever you need that kind of balancing from the overwhelm of the yang energy throughout the summer. So it's there in perpetuity. You can use it throughout the summer, or you can use it next summer too, because it will be there for you forever. Let me know if you have any comments or questions. We have the next 10 minutes together before we start the class. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. Tim will let me know.
Sure. You ready to say hello to people?
Yes, I am.
All right. How about Nikki in West Virginia?
Hello, Nikki in West Virginia. Nikki's a member in our community.
Viviana in Argentina.
Hello, Viviana in Argentina.
Hola, Letty in Mexico.
Hola, Letty in Mexico.
Freebird.
Hello.
In Germany, Deutschland.
Hello, Freebird in Germany. Do we say too bad about the soccer? That I know, it's awful. They were expected to do so well, and
Swati says hello.
Hello, Swati.
Maribel from Barcelona.
Hello, Maribel from Barcelona.
Swati's in India.
Hello, Swati in India.
And Catherine in Virginia.
Hello, Catherine in Virginia. Virginia is well represented here this morning.
Different states.
Oh, West Virginia and Virginia.
Right.
Gotcha. I'm keeping up.
You are. You are.
Lots of people joining us this morning, so thank you so much for joining us. Let me know if you have any comments or questions, and we can get to those this morning. It's really great to be able to have this time to connect with you. So I do have a question from Danielle. Danielle says, I have problems sleeping. I am so excited and absorbed in life. There's so much to take in and I have so much to offer, yet sometimes it can be quite overwhelming. And I wonder if you have any thoughts or recommendations. So this is something, the reason why I chose this question for this morning is that this is something that I'm finding to be more and more prevalent right now in the year 2018, and sort of seems like each year that passes it becomes more and more common. And I just think back to my time writing my PhD dissertation at York University, where I would look at a problem from all angles and really research it and go to the root cause. So I think that that's something that I do that's quite unique from other yoga teachers who might just be regurgitating class plans from their teacher training. Is that when I see a lot of people asking about something like anxiety or insomnia, I'm going to really research the topic. And then also because my PhD is in communications and cultural studies, I'm really going to look at the intersection of the culture that we live in, how it affects our life and our relationships, and also the communication in which we're involved in and the methods of communication in which we're continually engaged in as well. All of that combined with the training I have as a yoga therapist. Now, Tim's asking me to stop here.
No.
Go ahead.
I was just saying hi to Jennifer in Washington.
Hi, Jennifer in Washington.
And Cole in San Diego.
Hi, Cole in San Diego. Cole, I have a long time. Nice to see you.
And Jenny in California.
Hi, Jenny in California. Nice to see you.
And let's show them the behind the scenes shot because I've got a wide shot here.
Okay, we're going to show you behind the scenes what we're looking at. Oh, you were behind the
They were
scenes.
behind the scenes.
Got to see a lot of the lighting. So the other thing is that my training as a yoga therapist and group facilitator, I've been engaged as a yoga therapist for the past 10 years, creating a very supportive and safe environment in our membership community. And a lot of that training involves, really deep listening and between the lines to the feelings and needs of our members, sometimes what they're saying, what they're not saying, and putting all of this together to look at the definitely the overwhelm and the what I call twired. So people are definitely tired and wired these days, and putting all of that together and not just putting a Band-Aid on the symptoms, but getting to the root cause and trying to provide solutions that attempt to deal with the root cause of this overwhelm that causes anxiety and insomnia. And so what I found, Danielle, is that a lot of times there's just, in the culture that we live in right now, there's so much information coming at us. Now more than any time in history, there is apparently we have to deal with over 150,000 words a day. It's more than our ancestors would have had to deal with in their entire lifetime, and it's just so much for our nervous systems to process, which is why it's really great that you are here today, all of you who are here today, because we take this time out to give our nervous systems a break, to settle and calm our nervous systems, where we aren't taking in so much, where we aren't having to process and digest so much. This is really something that we were focusing on in the last 3 days in our retreat, in our membership community, just how much we're having to process and digest these days, because it is quite overwhelming, and it bleeds into our nervous systems. It bleeds into our emotional well-being, and we carry it with us into our beds at night, which makes it difficult to sleep. So this is one of the main reasons why we're focusing in our membership community, and I put together the 30-day digital detox for July for our members, so that we can really focus on some of the root causes. And it's not to say that you have to give up your digital media altogether. It's just that we can engage in it in a more mindful way so that it doesn't control us, and so that we can have more peace and well-being in our day. And again, all the time that I spent teaching courses at York University and McMaster University over a decade doing that really serves me well now, because I know how to put together programs that adults can succeed at. And I was reflecting on this over yesterday, particularly as we put together a longer challenge, like a 30-day challenge. It's really difficult to sustain something like that. And so this challenge that I put together for our members is like homeopathic medicine. It's small incremental doses, and even, when you take homeopathic medicine, you take the same thing every day. The way this is set up is that we're not asking you to necessarily do something different every day. There are days that repeat themselves as well, so that you can integrate these practices into your daily life so that you have lasting change. And I think that's really important, because we've all experienced when we've tried some kind of crazy exercise plan or diet or something like that, where you have this healing crisis, and then you just crash and burn, and you can't actually sustain something, and worse than that, you go into a mode where you have to recover from it. And so that's actually not something that I want at all for you. Which is why I've really carefully designed these programs, combining my training as a yoga therapist and as a PhD in communications and cultural studies, knowing that they need to be set up for us as adults living in the world. And so that's why I really like this kind of homeopathic drip, so that it comes into your life in a way that's going to be sustainable in small incremental doses. So that's really one thing that I would say is really important, is looking at the intersection of how you're receiving the media, and also the style of classes that we do today. There were some other questions about the 30-day digital detox. Are there other questions coming up, Tim, that...
Marquetta says hello from Reykjavik.
Hi, Marquetta. I'm glad you were able to be here. I know that I was just checking in the membership community before I came in, and I know there was you weren't sure if you were going to be able to make it, so I'm glad you were able to make it.
And also Ariana from California.
Hi, Ariana from California.
And, no, we've got a little bit of a delay, so it's...
Okay. So there were some other questions too that I just wanted to ask about, to answer. Okay, we've got one more minute before we start. So the other question was, as far as the digital detox, why should you come into a community to do something like this versus just printing off a list and following it on your own? And I think that's a really great question, because there are lists that you can print off and follow on your own. And the biggest reason why is that you're going to have the support of myself on a daily basis, and the support of our community and our community leaders. So in our community, and I talk about this a lot more yesterday on the Facebook Live, you'll probably still be able to find it, and probably for until this afternoon on Instagram, my live will be there as well. So depending on what platform you prefer. There are so many places in our membership community, like the Daily Yoga Connection, where our carriers of the teachings put together a reflection for you. And then there are yoga classes to support you each day. And when you do those classes, then our guardians of the community respond to you each day when you have a post. And anytime you post in the community, I respond to you as well. So there's a lot of support there. Whereas if you're just following something on your own, you may be able to finish it if you've got an incredible amount of willpower, but there's not that sort of camaraderie available for you there.
Thumbs up to Natalie from Switzerland.
Hello, Natalie from Switzerland.
And Donna Parks from the Big Apple.
Hello, Donna from New York. Yeah, great to see so many people with us today in the summer on a long weekend too.
It's only long weekend for us.
It's only a long weekend for us in Canada?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
July 4th is until like Wednesday or Thursday, so I'm guessing there you can ask those ones.
Well, I think with Americans, when they take, the Americans have July 4th, but oftentimes I think they kind of pack all those together, right? They piggyback their days off together. So it's a big vacation time. So it's really nice to see people still joining us, even though it's a big vacation time.
I think it's next week though.
Oh, you don't think the 4th shows up until the following week?
Yeah, I think they're middle of next week, like Thursday or something.
Oh, you're probably right.
July 4th is Wednesday.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that people usually take their vacation with the...
Yeah, you're right, I'm sure. I've got one question here from...
Tim says we have a question, so we'll take the question and then we'll start the class.
What poses are you recommended for people who practice gymnastics? A couple.
So the question is, what poses do I recommend for people who practice gymnastics?
A couple.
A couple. As a couple?
Yeah, I guess so.
So I'm going to let that question go until the end of the class. If you could explain a little bit more what you mean by that, like what you want to receive from the poses, and yeah, just tell me a little bit more. That would be great. Okay. We do have a partner yoga class in our membership community. Maybe that would, if Ariane's a member, maybe that would be of interest to her there. Okay, shall we get started?
Just a couple of poses, sure. Yeah, let's get started.
So in this restorative yoga class, we will practice resistance against the dominant culture's push to do more, be more, and consume more by practicing impeccable standards of comfort. Hi, I'm Melissa from Yoga with Melissa. I offer real yoga for real people. When you subscribe and press that little bell, you will get some fabulous yoga classes coming up in the next couple of weeks, including Yoga Nidra for insomnia. We've just been talking about a lot about that, and also Yin Yoga for neck pain. In July, as we've been talking about as well, we are going to be offering a 30-day challenge in our membership community, a digital detox. And this is a really great way to get at some of the root causes for neck pain and also insomnia. So we would love to have you join us there. There's going to be tons of support there in our community for that. Today, for your class, you're going to need lots of props, so you want to make sure you have access to a wall. We will be doing legs up the wall, your bolster, blocks, strap, and a blanket. So, as I mentioned today, we're going to be practicing impeccable standards of comfort. So, one of the ways that we can really best support our nervous system, and the biggest effort that we want to focus on in a restorative yoga class, is releasing tension from our bodies. And the best way we can do that is really taking the time to set up our props for our poses. And we want to really support our nervous system, our skeletal system, our fluid system, our organ system, our cellular system, our mental body, our emotional body, our energetic body. And we can really do that by taking the time with our props. So let's start by taking the time to set up our props in shavasana to begin. And for this one, you want to take the time to set up your blanket, and really we're going to take the time to do this because you want to have no bumps. So get your blanket. If you got a Mexican blanket or a wool blanket, but you want to make sure that you've got it folded. I think this is folded in half twice, and then we're going to fold it. You're just going to keep folding it in half until you get a square. I'm going to have it like that. And you want to have your bolster as well. And then you're going to take the corner, and the corner of your blanket is going to go, you're going to reach behind you on your neck, and you're going to feel down all the vertebrae of your neck until you feel the bone that protrudes. It's right at the base of your neck, C7 here, and that's where the corner of the mat is going to go. You're going to make sure that it supports that part of your neck. If you Judith Hansen Lassiter, who's really the queen mother of restorative yoga classes, says if you only spend time supporting one part of your body in your practice, let it be your neck, because it gives your nervous system a really great chance to relax. So what you do is you're going to set it up like this on an angle, and then we'll also make your head feel really safe by curling under the sides of this blanket, and you create basically a little cocoon for your head. And you can even do the back here as well. So you make this little kind of hole for your head, and then you rest in the middle of it, and this corner goes on C7 of your spine, and you're going to rest back here. So we are taking the time to set up our props so that we have impeccable standards of comfort. And if you have an eye pillow, you can place the eye pillow over your head. Okay, so this beginning shavasana is just a chance to allow tension to drip out of your body and into the earth. All that mental tension, the emotional tension, the physical tension from our bodies. So the effort involved in a restorative yoga class is to attend to the tension in our body, to be curious about where it's residing, and to let it release into our props and into the earth underneath us. Okay, from here we're going to roll to our sides. And we're going to, again, really take the time for our next pose to set up the props so that we can have that impeccable standards of comfort. These are transitional poses to lead us into relaxation. You're going to need your bolster for this, or a rolled up sleeping bag, or some rolled up blankets and pillows or blocks. You're going to take one block on the medium setting, and you're going to take the other one and you're going to put it on an angle here. See how it's on an angle coming in, so that you've got this elevated bolster. So when we come to our yoga class, we recognize that we're coming from our upright human doing position, and we're going to gradually ease into more and more restful positions. So let's start elevated. And then, because you've used your blocks there, we're going to do reclined bound angle pose. So you're going to use your straps. You don't want any, in restorative yoga, you don't want any joints hanging in the air, because we're here for a long time. So you take your straps and you want to make a really big loop with them. And you take that loop and make sure the buckle's in the middle here. And you put it over your legs, and then you open your legs and tighten it as you need it tightened, so that your legs are supported here. And then we're going to rest back into this pose for a good 10 minutes. I'm going to turn that up so I hear it this time. And you could put an eye pillow over your eyes here as well this time. So this pose begins to help you disconnect from your outer world and start to enter into the inner world. As I said, in a culture that is continually pushing us to do more and be more and consume more, doing something like restorative yoga is really a radical act of resistance. So instead of conforming to the dominant culture's pressure to produce and consume, you're joining a powerful subcultural movement to rest and renew. So the intention in a restorative yoga class is quite different from the mainstream culture or even mainstream yoga. Here, the restorative yoga movement offers you an aspiration to disconnect from the goals of the outer world and reconnect with your inner world. So this pose will dramatically lower your stress levels, especially as the first one in a restorative class. So as you rest here, notice the spaciousness. Let yourself become an introvert and sink further and further inside your body. And allow your mind to take a vacation from the constant thinking, planning, judging, and comparing. Okay, so it's time to move on to our next pose. So you can take your strap off from your legs, and we're going to treat this also as another transition pose. So you're going to leave your setup with your bolster the same, and you're going to sit. It's going to be child's pose, but you're going to have the bolster elevated as you do here. And you're just going to rest on your bolster with your head turned to one side. I'll tell you when to change your head to the other side. Okay, so we're just transitioning into this space here of relaxation. So let go into the bolster and let your attention rest inside your body. Breathe into the back of your body. 60% of your lungs are in the back of your body. Now, if this pose doesn't work for you, tight ankles, knee issues, then there's a couple of options for you. One is to do knees to chest pose with your legs against the wall. The other is to do, you wouldn't necessarily be able to do it elevated, but you could do this kind of, I think we did this a couple of weeks ago, this kind of extended legs child's pose over the bolster like this. So that's a couple of issues, a couple of options if you have knee issues and ankle tightness. Otherwise, you can stay with these transitional poses, easing into the restorative class with the elevated poses. Breathing into the back of your body. Okay, so slowly turn your head to the other side. Okay, so we're gonna slowly come out of this pose. And we're going to set up our props for the next pose. Again, really focusing on those impeccable standards of comfort, taking the time. This one we will be doing a head below heart pose. So you're going to set 2 blocks up like this, and then your bolster is going to go in front of them. Your head's going to be at this end of the mat, and you can take your blanket or maybe even your meditation cushion here on the blocks. Again, just smoothing out any wrinkles, setting things up so they're really comfortable for you. And you're going to need your strap again. Probably less of a loop this time. You can use your eye pillow again in this pose. You're going to sit up on the bolster. I would think the only people that couldn't do this pose would be if you have glaucoma or a detached retina, because it's an inversion, in which case you could do maybe a seated forward fold instead. So you're going to lie back. Everything's on the bolster except for your shoulders and your head, which are going to be resting on the ground. So this is one of the most restorative yoga poses. Have I left the frame? No? Okay. One of the most calming and inward focusing restorative poses. You can literally feel your inner psychological state change over the course of being in this pose. It's an excellent pose for fatigue. It quiets your mind. Now, when you're in this pose, allow your mental focus to move towards the center and the back of your brain. And just really allow yourself to receive the stillness of this pose. Okay, so we're going to slowly make our ways off of this prop. And just before you do, take a moment to notice the quality of your mind, the stillness in your body, and reflect on how your nervous system feels now, just taking this time to really slow down here. So bend your knees and you'll roll off your little prop situation here. And then you can take your strap off. And we'll continue with our impeccable standards of comfort here. And we're going to do a prone twist. So you can get rid of one of the blankets. I think we'll just use the blocks on the lowest setting here. You're going to do zigzag legs with your left leg in front of your right leg. In this one, really pay attention to the comfort of your organ body and also your skeletal body. So you're going to turn towards the bolster, lengthen up long through your spine, and you're going to fold over the bolster here. Okay, and then we're going to switch sides. So you're going to just push up, and then we'll switch the legs so that the right leg is in front of the left leg for the other side. So zigzagging on the other side, and again, really attending to the comfort of your skeletal and organ body here, lengthening long, and then before you fold forward over your bolster here. And just taking the time to consider your internal organs and make sure that your inner and outer body are in agreement here, settling into your inner body and acknowledging that you are really taking this time here to rest and renew, that we're moving away from that outer cultural norm of producing and consuming, and really taking a countercultural resistance, stance of resistance here by practicing this restorative yoga class, where our aspiration here is to disconnect from our goals of the outer world and reconnect with our inner world. Then we're going to make our way to our next restorative pose. So for this one, you'll probably need to move your mat. Put your blocks off to the side. You want to have your bolster close by, and then you're going to turn your mat so it's perpendicular to the wall. If you don't have a wall, you can always do, we're going to do legs up the wall, but you could always do legs up the couch. That works well, or a chair. That's also really nice. And what you're going to do here is you're going to put your hips right up against the wall and then circle them around so your legs are up the wall. You can stay here, or you can take your bolster, press your feet into the wall, and lower your bolster underneath your pelvis. This can be really, really quite soothing for your pelvis here. This is really wonderful for fluid drainage from the extremities. Allow fresh blood flow to go back to the heart. Again, not great if you have heart issues, glaucoma, detached retina, eye issues, too much pressure here in the upper body. But incredibly rejuvenating and relaxing, restorative for your body. So as we come to the end of our time in this legs up the wall pose, just notice how the tension has rolled off your body and the quality of your mind, the stillness, the calmness that is enveloping you now. So to come out of this pose, we'll bend our knees, press into your feet so that you can lift the bolster out and roll to your side. Slowly come up so you don't get dizzy. And then we're going to set your mat up for your final shavasana. And we're going to come back to that impeccable standard of comfort that we set up in the beginning as well. So take the time to smooth out your blankets underneath you, and also the one that we'll use for our head. Have a bolster underneath your knees again. So set up the blanket that you had for yourself again underneath your head on the diagonal. So this corner will go underneath C7, so you'll feel along your spine again. Feel the bone that protrudes at the back, at the base of your spine. That's where this will go. And then you're going to curl up the sides and curl up the back, so you create a little nest for your head here in the middle, and this will keep your head from rolling side to side. It's like when you're on an airplane or in a car and you fall asleep and your head falls, it just feels horrible. So having that supportive nest for your head really creates a sense of safety for you as you rest back here. So in final shavasana, we take the time to receive our practice, to integrate our practice. Notice the quality of your mind now, the stillness of your mind, how restful it is, and also just how much tension has been released from your body into the ground, into the props. Notice how your organ body is feeling, your fluid body. All of these things which we have attended to in the last hour. Taking the time with these impeccable standards of comfort. And you can continue to rest back here and receive your restorative practice. And I'm going to sit up and read you a poem. This this poem is a poem that I wrote called Unturned. The scaffolding, which started as a temporary effort to exist, became permanent in its undertaking to maintain an outer posture, industrious in its struggle to survive, continually repaired in resolute effort to prop itself up, a kind of false front or window dressing in an attempt to find comfort. Entering into the snug hollows of cushions, bolsters, and weighted blankets, the vulnerability of these outer structures begin to expose themselves, the security of their propping unturned, and the foundations of restful ease root up from beneath the cozy grounding. So gradually allow your breath to deepen, wiggle and stretch your fingers and toes, bend your knees, roll to your side, and slowly make your way up to a seated position. We'll finish our practice today by gathering first the fruits of our practice into ourselves, and then offering this delicious stillness and restfulness and renewal out into the world. So left palm up and right palm down, making space with breath and a sigh. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to the happiness and freedom for all. So if you made it all the way to the end of this deliciously restorative class, then give yourself a thumbs up and put "I'm practicing impeccable standards of comfort" in the comments. I want to thank Squeezed Yoga Clothing for my clothes today. I'm wearing a black bamboo top with the flying heart design on it. And thank you so much to all of you for being here for this live class. Be sure to comment and we can have a little conversation here at the end if you want to put your questions in and your comments in. I want to thank Donna, Cornelia, another Donna. Donnas are very generous. Alka, Luigi, and Anise for your donations. They support Tim and I. This is what we do full time. It's a full-time job, this. So it supports us full time to be able to offer you these classes each and every week. So thank you for that. And also I want to welcome into our membership community this month, Pascal, Elizabeth, and Anita. I know you're going to love the extra support that you get from myself and our members and all the amazing value-added content there and all the programs that we run there every month. So welcome to you, and the digital detox in July is just going to be awesome. We've been working hard on putting it together so that you are going to get the most out of it in July, and that starts on Sunday, so very exciting. So if there are any comments and questions, we can have a little chat here to close out. I was thinking about that question about partner yoga for people who do gymnastics and reflecting on it. And just the style that I bring to yoga, both as a yoga therapist and what we've been talking about over the course of this class as being a restorative yoga class. And, I really teach a lot of yin and restorative and yoga nidra, so these more internally focused classes. And so when you asked about doing partner yoga and gymnastics, that threw me a little bit, and it got me thinking about how we can come together with each other, because we do tend to, I think, rush around in our relationships as well, and that real sense of intimacy and connection is very much missing in our lives, in our friendships, in our closest relationships with our partners and our children, and so often too, even in our closest friendships and our relationships, our relationships are mediated through our devices as well. So I think the partner yoga is a great idea, and even doing something like taking the time to set up some props for your partner, getting them into a yoga position. It could be something really simple. If they haven't done any yoga like this, setting up an elevated prop like we did for the first two poses, with bound to angle pose, would be a really good one. It's a not too vulnerable pose where the prop, where the bolster is elevated, then they get to stay elevated more in their adult-like position, and their legs could even be long. And then just doing something as simple as holding their feet for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or rubbing some mint lotion on their feet could be something really a kind of intimacy and connection in that would be really quite a simple way to stop and connect with one another. So maybe not the answer that you're looking for, but I think could really change the speed of our world and create a connection that is really quite meaningful. So I'm going to commit to do that with Tim. Are you hearing this, Tim, with your ears?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? He's not listening. But Tim does really like the foot massages, so. Yeah, so I was saying I'm going to set you up with the bolster, and then I'll hold on to your feet, and I think you'd really like that.
Now?
He says now? Yeah, sure. No, but we'll do that today.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah. Questions or comments coming through?
Yes. So Cole said that she suffers from severe arthritis, and she couldn't even bend her right leg. But this morning, after doing yoga with you for a while, she's now able to almost do child's pose.
Wow. So Cole has severe arthritis, so she can't bend through her joints. But just from doing this class this morning, she's really able to bend her past classes, she's able to bend her knees. We have a whole series in our membership community for arthritis, and the way Tim's setting it up right now, we're redesigning the community and the site so that it's set up as courses. And so there's classes for arthritis for hips, knees, and then a full body arthritis class. And it'll be set up so you can see which ones you've done, and if they're useful for you, you can bookmark them so that you have your favorited classes that you can come back to again and again. But what I find interesting too is that it's this, our joints are about movement, and it's this it's exactly what we talked about in this class, this constant drive in our culture to do more and to constantly achieve and go, that our joints actually, what I would say, this is my yoga therapist coming out again. What I would say is that what happens is that our joints actually resist and say, no, I'm not going to keep moving. I'm going to stop. And when we take the time to listen to our bodies and do a class like we did today, which really goes against the culture. It's really a counterculture. It's really resistant to the dominant culture, where we slow down and we spend 10 minutes in a pose absolutely doing nothing. Look what happens. Cole's experience is that her joints say, wow, you gave me a break. You gave me time to do nothing. Thank you. I feel comfortable enough to start moving again, to start bending. So that's really powerful. We don't need to be pushing ourselves, to be driving ourselves, to be doing and going all the time. These very restorative practices, these yin practices, these yoga nidra practices, they fill the well from the bottom. They charge the batteries from beneath so that we have the resources that we need to be able to live in this world.
Letty said, she said in Spanish, all the restorative postures that Melissa puts together are delicious. Great benefit.
Letty says the postures are delicious and of great benefit. I'm glad you enjoyed them. Thank you, Letty, for letting me know. Mm-hmm.
Elka says she's ditching ditching dairy. She's finding that helps with her arthritis.
Elka says she's ditching dairy. Okay, yes.
Cole says, yeah, no dairy, no grains.
No dairy, no grains. Turmeric is really helpful for joints. Yes, we have a couple of videos on this is on melissawest.com, so they're free. You can find the turmeric latte videos. We have 2 of them on. They're really delicious. They're wonderful for your joints, and I think sugar too. Sugar, grains, dairy definitely can be an issue. But you want your good fats. So I wonder even if you drop dairy, if butter might be okay, or a purified ghee. That's probably worth looking into.
And thank you from Donna. She's going to leave.
Bye, Donna. Thanks for being with us.
Stella thought your poem was a blessing. She loved it.
Oh, thanks, Stella. One of the things when you take, in my experience, when I take the time to kind of pull out from the busyness, I set aside a good hour every day for writing, and that's when that deeper level thinking and creative process can really come through. And I think it supports us, it nourishes us. We want to hear these stories and have this time for deeper quality level reflection. So I'm glad that's a benefit to you.
The diva says, she's from India.
Mm-hmm.
What pose recommended for upper back and rounded shoulders?
Upper back and rounded shoulders. So the pose that we did at the very beginning, the supported bound angle pose, great one. That really opened up the chest. Also the one that we did halfway through, the supported shoulder stand, where your legs were on the bolster and your shoulders and your head were off. Another very good one. So awesome. And so again, we're getting at the root causes of these issues. All this time we spend on our computers, our cell phones. Yes, a couple of days ago, we were in the park taking a break from our work in the middle of the day, as we often do. And we were sitting, I was sitting and I was watching and there was this kind of pathway that came through the bushes and trees, and everybody who came out of the pathway came through like this. They were looking at their phones. We're in this beautiful park. So it causes this rounded posture, right? So I think the digital detox that we're doing, where we're incrementally microdosing this homeopathic, very easy incremental steps to detox from these devices a bit, it's a root cause of why we're so rounded too. So that will be helpful, especially for our members in July. And if you'd like to join us for that, it's part of our membership. Thank you, Elka and Cole, for your comments. Yeah. Okay, so thank you everybody for being with us today. It's been a pleasure to be with you as always. I'll see our members in the community, and I'm sending you much love from beautiful British Columbia. May your joy be as deep as our ocean. May you be as rooted as the trees in our forest, and may you be as strong as our mountains. Tim, yep.
Staycation.
Oh, we have a gift for you today. The ultimate guide to a staycation. You can do a kind of retreat yoga class thing at home. If you go to melissawest.com/staycation, 7 days of yoga classes and spa-like treatments that you can do at home. That's my gift to you today. So enjoy that. Om Shanti. Namaste. Bye.
We're gonna shut this down.